This is now the case study on R&D project management. And the objective of this case study is to provide you a perspective what is to be a project manager in an R&D environment, some of the challenges that you would face as a project manager, and also some concepts in project management which are applicable also for life science. So first, we need to understand the overall drug development process and how project management is applicable within this process. For those who are more advanced, apologize if I'm repeating the basics. For those who are beginners, I think it's worth to have a look at the big picture. The drug development process starts with the drug discovery, where you have the compounds, you're trying to find the compounds in your list after several tests, and you come to the preclinical phase, where you have a short list of compounds. In the preclinical phases, you typically run in vitro and in vivo studies in animals. You go with very few ones to the clinical phase until you get one FDA-approved drug. So that's a traditional drug development cycle that we know might take 10 to 15 years. From 15,000 compounds, you might reach one drug. One estimated cost of $1 billion for the overall project. We're going to focus for the case study and the specifics in the preclinical phase. So this phase, where you have a shortlisted compounds, where you run the pharmacodynamics, kinetic studies, toxicology studies, metabolism, and overall and in vitro and in vivo. What happens very often in the pharmaceutical industry, the big pharma, the new trends in big pharma is putting a lot of pressure on costs. So big pharma is moving more and more now to outsource some of the trials, outsource some of the studies. So there's a high, let's say, trend on developing those studies at the CROs. CROs stands for Contract Research Organizations, which are companies specialized in only running a specific type of studies, either clinical or preclinical, some of them both. So in this case, you're going to be presenting a case, you'll be faced with the situation you just joined a CRO, and is your first project you're taking as project manager. So let's say you finished your PhD and you secure a job offer as a project manager, preclinical development, the contract research organization, Preclinical Labs. And during the first week of work, you're assigned to lead a research project in the preclinical phase. So this project is a 6 weeks project. You'll be given this timeline where you're going to test the toxicity profile of a specific compound using in vitro cell culture. So during the first week, you're being asked by the head of R&D, so your line manager, to present a status report as a next step. So before you start the project, say, okay, can you present a kind of report where you're going to get started? What information would you include in this status report? Take some time to think about it. Imagine you didn't start a study yet. You need to gather some basics. What would be your first basic information you would collect? Here's an example. There's no, let's see, recipe for a project report, but this is a good example on which makes a kind of visual and also content information. Can be used as a template as well. So very important information when you present in a project, either a project dashboard, project status report, and I have the objectives of the project that you highlight, what are the issues or risks or discussion points you want to bring to the management, that you highlight also the status. If you see green, everything on track, or is it rather yellow, something you have to pay attention to, or completely red, or you're really delayed, or you don't have the resources. Also important is to understand what are the resources you assign for that project and the timelines. So it's the project timelines, the milestones, and the overall task. So this is the typical information you'd have to present when you join um, from the academia without much background on project management. This is very simple, very used tool that you'd need in a day-to-day basis as a project manager. So start communication within a project. Feel free to access the other resources we have in the platform. I have a lot of online courses, other case studies in different functions and roles in the pharmaceutical industry, free downloads and templates, events, blog posts. So free to drop us a message in a specific content you'd like to see, you'd like to learn about, that we make sure we can address.